Welcome to this week's episode of Mainly Motorsports, and as you see, instead of Steve, this is me in a hot seat this week, and to my left, your right, I guess, we have Mr. Dan Walker.
Well, hi, how are you?
How are you?
Great, it's been a long time. I only see you every day.
Dan Walker has the pleasantry of working with me almost every single day, seeing
Pretty
me
much.
every morning.
Yeah.
Do I light up your morning, everyday morning when you see me?
Everybody lights up my morning.
So for those of you who don't know, Dan is the jack of many trades at Beach Ridge. You're kind of like the pit steward. You kind of lay the law down there.
Yeah, and that's one way to do it. Yeah, pit steward job is something I started doing last year. Basically just responsible for keeping stuff on schedule, keeping things moving, and having things ready to go when the boss man's ready to have them.
And not only that, you raced for a while, and then your son Jeff Walker raced, and then now you went from you to Jeff to now his kids are getting into like different kinds of racing, so like go-karting and like dirt biking. So how's that for you? You know, having that passed down from generation to generation.
Well, Ethan is going to be racing go-karts this year, and I think the best part so far has been that my son Jeff is now experiencing what it's like to have a kid race. It's different. I went through it a little bit with him, you know, and you always worry about, you know, the safety and whatnot, and now he's experiencing that, and I think it's pretty funny. We had a conversation the other day about it, and he went and picked up the go-kart that they bought, and he's already checked every weld on the thing and everything else, so he's finding out what it's like to be a parent, and they haven't even hit the track yet.
So are you excited, like, you know, to kind of be there to like support them this season? And are you more worried about like, you know, kind of like the go-karts, like dirt biking thing than weather? A little bit different than if they were on the track.
Yeah, you know, I don't. I'm going to be there as often as I can. I don't really worry a lot about it. You know, when Jeff was racing, I didn't really get that worked up about it, but a lot of the time I was out there with him. But you know, I was at Oxford that time. He had what's been his worst wreck, and you know that was a little bit of an experience. But yeah, I'm going to be there to support him and Ethan, and you know I don't think, I say think, I don't think it's going to be more stressful. I could be wrong. You know, it's the first time with a grandson. I mean, other than feeling a little bit older. But you know, I hope they have fun with it, and we'll see what happens as the years go by here. But you know, if it follows the pattern, I'm sure we know how it will turn out.
And so, like father, like son, like what are some of your like favorite racing memories of like you and Jeff, like back in when you used to race together?
Anytime I beat him, I think there was half a dozen.
Yeah.
And there wasn't too many. But I get a lot of photos. Jamie Williams, who takes great photos, he always managed to take photos when I was in front of Jeff. You know, so he managed to do that. But there was one time, it was, I think the last year I raced, that myself and it was the two car there. I'm drawing a blank. Wade, I can't remember his last name. And Dave Moreau and Jeff, and we were lined up 2x2 there racing for the win for about the last 12 laps right to the checkered flag there. That was a lot of fun because I could see those guys behind me, and I saw Jeff on the outside. I knew he didn't have anywhere to go. That was one of my few times I beat him. But, you know, we always had fun racing together. I honestly couldn't really keep up with him. The times I did beat him were, you know, I'll call it a fluke, but we both managed to win a championship. He's got 1.5 now, so he moved ahead of me. I always held that over his head for a little while, but yeah, it's fun. You don't really think about anything else.
1.5. Where does the half come from?
He had a tie.
Oh.
So even though they don't do co-champions, I don't let him have that one. So for the longest time, up until last year, I had one and he had a half. I've even lost that bragging right now.
But sometimes, like this past season, you race, you're out there on the track and you don't even know it.
Yeah, I know. You know, the one good thing about this past year is his race was first on Thursday, so I was able to actually watch it. So that was pretty good, and he had a really great year. The car count was down a little bit, but he won a lot of races, won the championship. He did a good job. I hate to see the car gone.
Yeah.
You know, he had it for sale. I was hoping the car would stay around here, but it went to somebody who's racing at Monadnock.
Maybe you can get out there again sometime. Maybe get that other one.
Well,
you can, you know, matches 1.5 to 2.
The urge when the car was still sitting in the garage crept into my mind a couple times, but I'm not getting any younger. I got other things I'm focusing on now and racing, and yeah, I think that's gone. But you never know. Never say no.
Never say never.
Right.
But then you're one of those guys too that during the off season you stay busy, you know, working the arena events and stuff like that, and being involved in racing even during the off season, which is something that we'll talk about in the upcoming segment with the Maine Vintage Race Car Association, something that everyone should really be a part of. So maybe we'll take a break and we'll come back and we'll talk about some upcoming events for the Maine Vintage Race Car Association and the Hall of Fame dinner coming up in April. And we'll be right back with you on Mainly Motorsports.
Ignition won't turn? Wait, don't tow it. It may just be a one key. Hi, I'm Jim Broadhurst, owner of eKeys for Cars of Saco. At eKeys for Cars, we'll diagnose your problem over the phone and give you a firm quote. No bait and switch here. Whenever or wherever you're stuck, eKeys for Cars will come to you. Call eKeys for Cars in Saco, the fast, affordable fix for your car key and lock needs.
Mainly Motorsports, brought to you by
Bentley Saloon, Route 1 in Arundel. Stop by and see why me and my friends say, who has more fun than us? We do.
Welcome to Mainly Motorsports.
To order a copy of this show, send a check or money order for $15, including shipping and handling, to Mainly Motorsports, 2 Main Street, Suite 17-103, Biddeford, Maine, 04005. And please add the show number in the description of the show.
See Maine's largest selection of travel trailers, fifth wheels, toy haulers, truck campers, and motorhomes this Friday, Saturday, and Sunday at the Augusta RV Show. Get low preseason pricing. New travel trailers starting at just $12,999. Factory reps and finance managers on site to help you with your purchase. Plus, new this year, campgrounds will also be in attendance. 3 days only. Doors open Friday at noon, Saturday at 9 a.m., Sunday at 10 a.m. Your camping season starts at the Augusta Civic Center, exit 112 off I-95 Augusta. This event sponsored by Scott's Recreation.
Welcome back to Mainly Motorsports, and we're here with Dan Walker. Before the break, talked to you a little bit about your experience racing at Beach Ridge, and then talked a little bit about the Maine Vintage Race Car Association, which you do have some involvement with. So if you'd like to just share with us your involvement with that, with the association, and how other people can get involved as well.
Yeah, the Maine Vintage Race Car Association is something that I've followed since its inception, and it's something that I've always wanted to get involved with, but the timing never quite worked out right. I had a lot of other things going on, and last year, you know, things kind of lightened up a little bit, so I started going to the meetings, and went to like the, I don't know, 3 or 4 meetings. Really enjoyed it, and then was asked if I would run for one of the director positions, so I did. I was elected. My wife Sue is the club treasurer. She took that job over when Dan Bubar's wife got done. So I've been involved with that as a board member since November when the elections took place, and it's really nice. I'm glad it's something I did. I think it's tremendously important to the sport in this area. I think it's needed. There's so much more that can be done. The club is obviously limited with its finances. It's a nonprofit. We do put the Hall of Fame awards banquet on every year at the Augusta Civic Center, and that's quite an expensive undertaking. We try to sell as many advertisements as we can. We have a great group of people that are working hard on all of that. We have some great people that work hard on the presentation, and it's something that I anticipate being involved with for a long time. And I encourage anybody out there who's not a member, please please, it's important to preserve the history of the sport. Every week you race, at the end of the night, that week is now history, and somewhere down the road, the cars that are racing today are going to be those cars of yesteryear. And the Maine Vintage Race Car Association website has been all updated. Stephanie Burgess has done a great job getting that updated. I believe Scott Tapley is now taking that over and maintaining that. So there's a lot of information there that's available. The club meets the third Tuesday of every month at the Gray Public Library at 7 o'clock. So, and it's open to anybody. You don't even have to be a member to attend, but if you attend, I think you'll find it interesting, and would anticipate that you would want to become a member.
And if you'd like to become a member and do more than just attend meetings, how would someone do that?
You can go on the Maine Vintage Race Car Association website. There's a membership application. It's not expensive at all. You can do an individual membership. There's a couples membership, and even a family membership. And I don't have the pricing right handy, but the application forms are right there. You can attend a meeting. We can take care of you right there. There's different ways that you could definitely become a member, and I would encourage everybody, please do that. I wished I hadn't waited so long, but like I said, the timing wasn't right. Now that I'm involved and see what goes on, it's a very special organization.
And Steve and I talked about it too, like the Maine Mobile Museum travels from different places, from like Bentley's. They were up at Augusta, had different. Maine Vintage Race Car Association had different cars at the Portland show as well. And I think that one thing that's really cool is a lot of it is, racing, like stock car racing, but some of it too, when we see these people being inducted into the Maine Racing Hall of Fame, it's not just limited to just cars, which is cool. Yeah,
recently that ceiling was broken open, and it's really opened a whole new world for us. The drag racers are now part of the Maine Motorsports history. There's anticipation of maybe expanding even more, but we have Lomar Pelletier, who's going into the Hall of Fame this year, and he's got a tremendous following. So we've broken through a couple of glass ceilings and kind of expanded the horizons a little bit. We have a tremendous president right now with Andy Austin, who has a bundle of energy and some great ideas and plans, and we're getting into a little bit more modernization of things, and like the newsletter, we're going to be going digital with that, and we're working on a lot of stuff that I think by the end of this year you're going to see some really nice stuff. And recently, as you mentioned, part of the mobile museum, we took delivery from Peg Griswold, the old NASCAR Busch North car that was driven by Brad Layton and Mike Stefanik, and it's in tremendous condition. It was on display at the Expo show, recent preview. So we're getting more and more things like that, and we've got some great people involved now that have access to things. We have Andy Santerre, Ken Minot is on board now, so we've got some great people, and looking forward to some really exciting things coming up.
Yeah, and I think a great thing too is that it's one of those organizations where everybody involved in it is truly deeply rooted in racing and has a love for it, and I feel like that's so important to help keep it running and keep fresh ideas and new things coming to the plate too. Yeah,
one of the things that I noticed immediately was when Andy Austin was elected president was there was an immediate influx of energy and new ideas. And he's a tremendous leader in that area. And everybody else is coming to the table now with new ideas and new thoughts. Stephanie Burgess is doing tremendous things with newsletters and print media, and we're going to be more involved with the mainstream media when racing season starts. We've got some things in the works there, with Travis Barrett and some other people. So, like I said, we're looking for some tremendous things, but we're always looking for more people. We're always looking for new ideas. There's no idea anybody could bring to the table that won't be discussed. I don't know what it was like before, but I do know that the energy and the excitement within the club right now is in a good place.
Like you said, an exciting season coming up like for the Maine Vintage Race Car Association. Coming up, the soonest is the Hall of Fame Awards Dinner, which is Saturday, again, April 13th. It's $45 a ticket, did you say?
Yes, tickets are $45, and there's a ticket form on the website you can get, or you can contact any club officer or director or advisor. We can get you tickets, or you can, just fill out the form online and mail it to the address given on there, which happens to be my house. But yeah, and again, that's open to anybody. You don't have to be a member. You don't have to be an officer. And I'll tell you, over the years, the last few years, some of the Hall of Fame inductees, it's been really interesting to listen to how heartfelt they are on their acceptance speech. Dick Bergman comes to mind, Jim Burns, Russ Nutting, Goodwin Hannaford, all those guys have really emotional acceptance speeches. This year, Ricky Craven is being inducted among many other qualified people. So we've got some wonderful things going on, and we're really on a big momentum swing right now, I think.
Yeah, definitely an event to look forward to. I went for the first time last year, and it was just really cool. Like, not knowing some of these drivers, because being like a newer fan, I guess you say, I wasn't around like way back then, but it was cool hearing their stories, and like you said, just like hearing like how heartfelt their like acceptance speeches are is awesome. And it was just a really cool experience all around. Yeah,
there's a lot of history in that room. I mean, not just the inductees going in that night, but there's a lot of history in that room with most of the former Hall of Fame inductees try to attend if they can. There's always a lot of drivers, past and current, in attendance, and a lot of dignitaries. So it's a really good night. It starts early, and it's usually over by like 9 o'clock, so you can still get home at a reasonable hour. So I encourage anybody out there to check it out. Again, get your tickets, the Maine Vintage Race Car Association website, and try to make it out there. I think you won't be disappointed.
Definitely something to check out, like at least once, and if you like it once, come back year after year and support the association, which is really great, as you said, preserving the sport of racing for years to come. So with that being said, talk about an exciting 2019 coming up for Maine Vintage, but there's also a lot of changes and exciting things coming up for Beach Ridge this upcoming 2019 season. So we'll take another break. We'll come back and we'll talk about that with Dan some more on Mainely Motorsports.
For a trusted name in residential and commercial site work in the southern Maine area, call Peter Pettit Excavating. We can handle everything from the complete house lot to those nasty water and sewer line repairs. Septic systems are another area that we specialize in. During the snow season, Pettit Excavating has the equipment to handle any size job.
And when the race season arrives, be sure to follow the number 7 Hewitt's Family Restaurant Chevrolet on the past Super Late Model Tour.
Call 207-282-9305 to get the job done right. That's Peter Pettit Excavating.
Patman's Redemption and Agency Liquor Store is located at 95 Tanberg Trail in Windham, Maine. With over 400 feet of hard liquor and 15 doors of ice-cold beer and soda, Patman's can handle all of your beverage needs. And if it's wine on your agenda, we have over 300 varieties in stock. Then when the party's over, Patman's can handle all of your Maine returnables, and we welcome all bottle drives. And if you're late for the race, drop off the bottles and pick up the cash at your convenience.
Hey, this is Pat Man himself, just letting you know that Pat Man's is your one-stop shop for all your thirsty needs.
Welcome back to Mainely Motorsports, and still here with Dan Walker. And
it's a good thing we don't have a microphone rolling in between takes, huh?
Probably a good thing. So before the break, we talked a little bit about exciting things coming up in 2019, and Beach Ridge, where you work, have raced for many years, has a lot of different schedule changes coming up in 2019. And then on Thursday nights, an addition of a new division on Thursday nights as well. So there's a lot of different things happening in the coming months for the track.
Yeah, the NASCAR Weekly Racing Series season will be here shortly. More emphasis on the weekly racing this year, more opportunities for the weekly competitors to compete, more opportunities for extended lap races. The schedule was expanded this year. You never know how the weather's going to play out, but the last few years with the Day of Destruction series that was implemented last year, taking up a couple weeks, and then with the weather the way it was, you know, racing a couple of more. There really wasn't a ton of opportunity. So this year with the extended races, Day of Destruction Series is back to its traditional 3 dates. There's no full-bodied Fender Series touring races this year. There is a modified tour race. But other than that, it's all going to be just weekly racing. The Thursday Thunder Series, that'll be expanded by a week this year, and the Street Devils are now going to be full-time on Thursday night. That seems to be at the growth level where it warrants being a weekly division now. I'm not sure where that was going to end out, but now it's going to be a part of the Thursday Thunder program, so we're adding a division there. And again, like I said, the 3 Day of Destructions with their traditional, you know, Memorial Day, the July one, and the end of the season one. So it looks to be a fairly busy season. Hope the weather cooperates. If the weather cooperates, you know, could be 20 weekly races this year, and you know, good opportunity for the race teams to compete more. And you know, there's been some other changes kind of behind the scenes and whatever, you know, new tire and things like that, but I try to keep out of that and focus on the stuff that I know.
Yeah, and I feel like we had a lot of rainouts last season, so I feel like, you know, this extended race kind of gives drivers a chance to make up for what was lost last season. So.
Yeah, well, you know, when that Day of Destruction series was expanded, there was 2 races lost there, and it seemed like every week we had the Day of Destruction, and the next week that we were back to the weekly series, it seemed like it rained.
Yeah.
So it seemed like we hadn't raced for like a month at times, and actually it was a month at one point.
5 weeks at one point.
So that was an experiment, you know. You know, you don't try different things. There's no gain. You know, I don't think anybody's shy about saying it really didn't quite work out as intended, but you know, hopefully this year it's just more of the weekly racing, and Mother Nature cooperates for a change.
And I think another thing that's good too, like looking at the schedule for this upcoming season, is that everyone does get a week off. It's like in the middle of the season, where it's also happens to be the same race of the July race at New Hampshire.
Yeah, there's a monster truck show that's going to be taking place that weekend. I don't have a lot of details on that yet. That should probably be a pretty big show, I would assume. There's a good following for that, so that will take place. That'll give everybody a chance to catch their breath, and then we'll get right back after it after that.
And I think like that's a smart thing too for like both drivers and fans, because you know, like a lot of people attend that race and you don't see like as many people in the stands that weekend too. So it's a good thing, you know, I say for both the drivers to get a break and for the fans as well to enjoy that race weekend. Yeah,
exactly. I mean, hopefully it falls at the right time, and hopefully it doesn't rain the week before or the week after. But you know, there's nothing you can do about weather, and we wish everybody could have dry summers so that we could get all the races in. But you know, inevitably it's not going to happen.
And it'll be exciting too. We already seen some cars of like drivers moving up into different divisions, like Josh Childs moving up into the Pro Series. You see some stuff happening like that where drivers like shifting divisions or moving up on Thursday nights as well. So it'll be interesting kind of seeing how that plays out over the course of the season as well.
Yeah, it's going to be fun to watch Josh. See, last year he did a couple events at another track, you know, with the super late model, and you know, he's got car control. He knows how to race, and he'll be racing with our Pro Series on a weekly basis. But yeah, the feeder system from Thursday, there's you know, a few guys that are moving in. Some, you know, Todd Libby is moving from a Mad Bomber to a Sports Series. I'm sure that'll be an educational experience for him. You know, there's a few people moving from Thursday to Saturday, and you always get a ton of new people on Thursday. So we'll see when we open the gates, see how it all unfolds, and we'll go from there.
And I'm sure in an episode coming up, not too very long from now, you'll see me and Dan back on the backstretch at Beach Ridge making our picks for the 2019 season.
Are we doing that this year? I don't think any of us have paid off that bet for 2 years.
No, we haven't paid off that.
It's funny. We're on a streak now where we get, you know, our championship picks, and then something happens and they disappear, you know. So we'll have to maybe figure out a different payoff or something.
Or figure out maybe a new thing to do for 2019.
Yeah, we'll figure something out.
All right, so Thank you, Dan, for joining me. But you're gonna stay right here. I'm gonna put you in this seat, and we'll come back with another very special guest who Dan will be introducing next.
Yeah, I'm not sure that what I did to deserve this, but we'll give it a try.
So we'll be right back with you on Mainly Motorsports.
See Maine's largest selection of travel trailers, fifth wheels, toy haulers, truck campers, and motorhomes this Friday, Saturday, and Sunday at the Augusta RV Show. Get low preseason pricing. New travel trailers starting at just $12,999. Factory reps and finance managers on site to help you with your purchase. Plus, new this year, campgrounds will also be in attendance. 3 days only. Doors open Friday at noon, Saturday at 9 a.m., Sunday at 10 a.m. Your camping season starts at the Augusta Civic Center, exit 112 off I-95 Augusta. This event sponsored by Scott's Recreation.
Football fans, have we got a deal for you? VIP Tour and Charter Bus Company is offering round-trip transportation to Gillette Stadium to watch the New England Patriots make another run for the Super Bowl. Ride in style knowing we're doing the driving. So if you've got a ticket, we've got your ride. It doesn't get any better than that. Just log on to VIPChartercoaches.com, click on the Browse Book Tour button, and book your trip today. It's that simple. Relax and leave the driving to us, and we'll leave the tailgating to you.
Welcome back to this week's edition of Mainly Motorsports, and I've been saddled with the task of interviewing one of the most colorful, controversial, and chaotic race drivers this area has ever seen, but also one of the best people that you'll ever know. Always willing to help out. To my right is none other than Mr. Lewis Anderson. What's going on, Lou?
How you doing, Dan? Thanks for having me on Mainly Motorsports.
Well, it wasn't my idea, but thanks for being here.
Mine either.
So, anyways, let's look back a little bit. You did the Snowball Derby again this year.
Yep.
You did it a little bit different this year. You didn't lose your money at sea, on a cruise ship.
Right.
So take us through this year's edition of Lou's Snowball Derby Adventure.
Well, the plan was this winter was to build a new car, which still hasn't happened yet. I'm not saying it's not going to, but this went on the back burner because of funding, obviously. And with the engine expiring towards the end of the season, having to borrow one to finish the season off at Beech Ridge, building a motor, buying a motor wasn't in the budget to go along with spending the money to go to Florida. Well, I talked to Jason Gammon and told him, asked him about putting his motor in the car and him driving it. And he thought it was a pretty good idea. And so, got to see it from a different aspect, to be on a different end of the radio, which was totally different, because I'm obviously not used to being on radios for street stock race, but yeah, I got the crew chief for Jason Gammon, and we had a good time. And it wasn't for the rear end expiring on us, I think we'd had a good time down there. We had a good run down there. Had a good time no matter what. It's always fun going down there and trying stuff. But the car was good before we had problems with mechanically.
So what was the hardest part about the Snowball Derby being an owner as opposed to being a driver?
It was actually a lot easier, I think. Way less stressful.
Was it?
Oh yeah, way less stress. Other than, like I said, the car having an issue with the rear end, we built between practice and time trials, chasing parts around, because we didn't bring them parts with us. We bring a bunch of spare parts with us, but not to build a rear end.
Not the good stuff?
No, there is no good stuff. We had it all.
So let's talk a little bit about last year's season. Not the best.
No.
Certainly not the worst.
No, not by any means.
But at times frustrating.
Yeah, the car just lacked speed last year, and we were missing something. I'm still not so sure. We haven't found it, or we did find it. I'm not sure.
Is the Camaro versus Monte Carlo battle going to carry over this year?
I'm pretty sure it's going to, because there's a lot of metric cars being built, and then there's also a couple new Camaros being built. So we'll see. I'm sure it's going to be as vigorous as ever.
So, you being in a Monte Carlo and having to chase some of those fast Camaros, does it make you do you have to take extra risks, or do you just say it is what it is?
Last year, the car was off so bad, I just said it is what it is. We'll see what happens this year.
So you're not without success. In 2016, you won the championship, and that was a pretty popular championship. Take us through that season a little bit.
Well, we started off the year finishing the top 3 or 4. So opening day has been notoriously not bad for me, but haven't been getting the decent finishes opening day, so I dug myself a hole. And finishing in the top 5 on opening day, we didn't have a lot of points to make up to get to the front. Then we picked up the win there. Our first win came in like June, and we led the points for a while in the middle of the summer, and then middle of August came, and one of the things weren't going our way. It's just that with the fast cars there's a bunch of fast cars there, and we were finishing in the top 5s, but the back half of the top 5 when the other guys were winning. So we were kind of in a big hole there with a couple of races to go.
Exactly. You say a big hole. I think you're exaggerating a little bit. First of all, who are you chasing?
At the end of the season, I was chasing Cole Watson,
who was notoriously quick and usually consistent.
Yes,
and when you say a big hole, it was. Do you remember how many points it was?
I do not remember.
It was with 2 races to go. It was what, 26 points, right?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. And obviously you wound up pulling it off, but those last couple of races.
Yeah, we were able to score the heat win and a feature win with 2 to go, and then I think we finished like second in the heat, the last race of the season, and we were able to pull off the final race victory to seal the deal. And there was an incident, and Cole ended up wrecking, and I don't know what the whole deal was because obviously I was racing and didn't see it. It was behind me.
Incident's a good word.
And I had no idea how bad his car was, and until I met you at the end of the race to get the flag, I had no idea where I even secured it.
Yeah, up at the 3-turn wall, I had done the math in my head, and I was fairly certain of my information. And yeah, I can verify that you had no idea that you had won the championship. And
no, because like I say, I asked you 3 or 4 times, did we win it? Did we win it? And yeah, with the noise of the car and getting my helmet off and all that, you finally informed me that we had secured the championship. And I was just like, I could not believe it. I was in awe all the way around the track doing my victory lap that we had pulled it off. I mean, I did what I had to do as far as securing the win and all that, but I had to have other people finish where they needed to finish in order to get it.
A lot of things had to fall into place, and it's not very common that happens where everything falls into place.
No, it's not. Usually, I've had an idea that if I was won the race, most likely it's going to finish second that year, down by a point or 2, and I had no idea that Cole's going to have the problems he had, and we were able to secure it.
All right, so as we get ready to wrap up here, 2019. I'm
going in a different direction a little bit. I'm still driving, but I'm working with Steve Perry and Jake Dorr on the Dream Ride thing. That takes a lot of Saturdays up. So I'm going to run full-time for points at Lee Speedway in Lee, New Hampshire, and then do a few races at Beech Ridge and other tracks just that have big races.
All right. Well, there you have it. There's Lou Anderson, and we're going to take a break, and we'll be right back to wrap up this week's edition of Mainly Motorsports, as Amy will be back with Lou here in just a moment.
Servicing differentials is virtually impossible. The confined space makes fill holes difficult to reach, and industry-standard conical bottles are rigid and hard to squeeze. That combination makes for a messy job. Plus, you can't get all of the gear lube out of the bottle, so you have to buy more than you need to complete the job. And engineering your own solution only results in disaster. Not anymore. Introducing the new AMSOIL Easy Pack. Easily access hard-to-service differentials. Easily squeeze out all of the contents. And easily stay clean while you do it. No more leftover fluid or inconvenient rigid bottles. No more trouble reaching difficult fill holes. No more mess. AMSOIL Severe Gear in the new Easy Pack. The solution to all your problems.
Another first from AMSOIL. For a stocking dealer nearest you, call toll-free 877-761-8375 or visit fourseasonsynthetic.com.
See Maine's largest selection of travel trailers, fifth wheels, toy haulers, truck campers, and motorhomes this Friday, Saturday, and Sunday at the Augusta RV Show. Get low preseason pricing. New travel trailers starting at just $12,999. Factory reps and finance managers on site to help you with your purchase. Plus, new this year, campgrounds will also be in attendance. 3 days only. Doors open Friday at noon, Saturday at 9 a.m., Sunday at 10 a.m. Your camping season starts at the Augusta Civic Center, exit 112 off I-95 Augusta. This event sponsored by Scott's Recreation.
Welcome back to Mainely Motorsports, and thank you, Dan, for joining us and then taking a segment to interview Mr. Louis Anderson to my left here. And as you talked about, some big changes coming for you in 2019, changing up tracks. You've raced at Beach Ridge for a very long time. And during the break, we were talking about some of your favorite memories. And one that comes to mind is a big 50-lapper from a couple years ago. So do you want to take us back through maybe some other memories, but then that 50-lapper too, back in 2013?
Yeah. My first big memory was in 2005 when I was working with Steve. I just met Steve Perry. And I'd lost an engine in my car, taken a week off. And he asked me how racing went Monday at work and said we didn't race, we had no engine. Well, he made a phone call or two, and you know, one thing leads to another, and we ended up with an engine. And went out there and we led like 20 laps, 25 laps of the race, and got past in the last lap and finished second that week. And they always say you gotta lose one before you can win one, and that was it. Like I say, I had a good car all night long, and so then the next week, Steve comes to the track and asked how things are going. I said, going real good. And we took the lead in the heat in the last lap. And going into turn 3, the wheel broke. Went down through Ralph's garage, Andy's garage. And we didn't finish the race because we didn't make it around turn 3 and 4, obviously, with no right front tire on. And the rim had snapped right in half.
Oh my gosh.
And so Steve calls Wrecking Man up, Bobby Collette, and go get that tire. And if he needs a tire, let me know. I'll come write him a check. And so we're going. We dismount to get tire back from the wrecker guy, and tire's in good shape. So we just dismount it, put it on another wheel, and put it on the right front, and we're ready to go. And because I finished so well the previous weeks, I moved up in the point, so I had to start like mid-pack. So it took me a little longer to get to the lead this time. So I didn't take the lead till like somewhere in midpoint of the race. And I'm pulling away from him. The car's on a rail, and we're going. Never had this experience before. The car, like me, no matter what I did, it was sticking to the track. And then all of a sudden I smelled transmission fluid, not gear oil. And I'm like, this isn't good. Something's going to go wrong. And sure enough, the transmission's getting ready to explode. We made it to the end of the race, and we'd won it. And so we go to do our victory lane ceremonies and come into pits, and coming down through the pit road, right from the first pit stall to Tech, at the old Tech pad, they were lined up on high-fived every crew for every team, Pro Stock, Limited, Sports Series, and Wildcat. It was amazing. But then 2016, my other big win, 2013, my other big win was the Wildcat 50. We had the restart with 2 to go. And the front two got together and jammed up getting into 1 and 2, getting into 1. They all slid high, and I just drove right around the bottom of the racetrack to pick up the biggest win of my career to that point. And they were, like I say, before that I wasn't qualifying for Wildcat 50. Now I'm sitting in the green watching my kid. Now I'm winning it. So that was a huge moment. Because, I mean, that's when the big Wildcat 50 brings cars from other tracks and stuff like that. So you have a lot of good cars there that night.
And how many years have you been at this, like, with racing?
I've been going to the Beach Ridge Motor Speedway since 1971, when I was a year old. And I started racing at Beach Ridge in 1986, the first year of the pavement. I took my uncle's car out for a few times at the end of the season in the Wildcat in the Sports Series, which is now back to the Limited Sports and Training feature.
So was that one in 2005? Was that your first win ever?
Yeah, my first win ever.
Wow. So what did you race? You know, that's a whole lot of years to go between, you know, starting racing to winning that first race. And like you said, like everyone was there to, you know, high five you and everything. Like, what was it like during that time between for you in your early racing days?
The early days, if it required more than a gallon of gas and a quart of oil, we didn't change nothing on the car. The car didn't come off the trailer. I mean, we didn't, like I say, we put gas in it and we went racing. Didn't spend any money on the car. So in 1996 or so, I think it was 1996, Sarah Dexter, my fiance, said, let's go for a ride. I said, okay. It's Christmas morning, Christmas afternoon now. I'm like, okay. Went down to this guy's house and she'd purchased a Gen 2 Camaro. And literally we put the chain on the back bumper of the S10 and the chain around the front bumper of the race car. And I sat on a tree log, and we hauled it up Route 35 in Hollis. And some friends of mine got together and we put a body on it and we went racing. And for the 97 season. And we finally realized that to go fast, you got to spend money, and yeah, you know how that goes.
And I think one thing that's cool about you, like for years now, is that you have your, you know, orange in past years, your paint scheme during the racing season, and then during the winter months you have the Bad Santa, which is something that you kept for the entire season this past season as well.
Yeah, a couple of years ago, 2015, we decided that we wanted to go down and tackle the Snowball Derby. And with the help of ASM Graphics and Warren Hamilton and Steve Perry, they came up with this Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer candy cane paint scheme, and they wrapped the whole car. And so I raced the 2016 season with that wrapped race car until the last couple races of the season when I had to change a couple body panels out. But the most part, the car stayed wrapped all season. And then for 17, we went down as the 2016. We went back down to Florida as the Grinch. Well, we wrecked the car, so we had to change the body on it to go to the car show. So in 3 weeks, we changed the body, changed the clip, repainted the body, did all the body work, and re-leaded the car in 3.5 weeks to go to the Augusta show.
Craziness.
Yeah. And so for the 17th season, we had an orange car because, like I say, we didn't have the any Christmas theme on it.
Yep.
And then last year, in maybe 2017, went to Florida, and we had the Allen and Misfit Toys.
Yep.
And yeah, we did keep that paint scheme. It's expensive to wrap a car, especially in my division, and I'm a low dollar guy, so if it looks good, we're going with it.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
And then what are some of the coolest cars that you've had throughout the years that you kind of look back today and you're like, oh man, I really miss racing it?
Let me see. Yeah, we had an enduro car that we did a lot of enduros with when I was a teenager. That car there, we couldn't kill it. And then finally, finally one guy did kill it, but I mean, it was a big Cadillac hit me. And I had a little Buick Skylark. That was a fun car to have. And then we took the motor out of that and put it in a Wildcat car the first few years. And a little V6 that could.
Yeah.
Pass everything.
We have a lot of racing memories on your belt. Going to create more this upcoming season, like you said at Lee USA Speedway. So what are some of your big personal goals coming up in the 2019 season?
I got a huge undertaking here going to Lee. Considering I've never won anything more than a heat at Wiscasset or Oxford, and other than that, I have no feature wins anywhere else. So I got a big step to adjustment to make, and hopefully we can do it.
Yeah. And then who are some of the people that have been behind you this entire time? I know you mentioned Steve and Sarah that kind of keep pushing you to go further. Yeah, we gotta thank obviously Steve and Sarah. Steve got me hooked up with the right people to get to make things work for a number of years now, and Sarah for being behind the scenes and doing what she does. She doesn't miss a race. I also got to thank No Such Chassis, Randy Harmon. He's been there the last 10 years, putting clips on this car, bodies, suspension. He's got an eye for it. If something doesn't look right, most likely it's not right. And so hopefully him and I can get back on the same page this summer and get things figured out and go the right direction. Yeah, well, it's going to be an exciting season for you. Yeah. Also got to thank Ferguson Knock Variety, Chip Service Center, and Burgers Petits for their awesome apparel they give us. Yeah, Debbie does an awesome job. Yeah. So we'll be right back, and we're going to show you the highlights from your 50 lapper a couple years ago. Going to dig those out of the archives, and you'll get to see that big moment from Louis Anderson when we come back on Mainly Motorsports.
Hi, I'm Johnny Wolf. Here at 21st Century Motors, we've been in business since 1972, and we take pride in our work. We have a large selection of pre-owned vehicles that are clean and ready. I personally drive and state inspect every vehicle we sell. We're experts at getting your car financed, whether you have good, bad, or no credit. We purchase vehicles several times a week, so there's always plenty to choose from. Come on in and make a deal today at 21st Century Motors in Gorham, or online at 21stcenturymaine.com.
Mainly Motorsports, brought to you by
Four Seasons Synthetic. See them for all your AMSOIL product needs.
Hard time getting past. It almost like closing and actually getting to the back bumper fed him even more to get past the driver. And he moved by Cole Watson and was setting his sights on Dan Bean. As a matter of fact, I think even if the caution flag hadn't come out, he might have stolen second away. Now over into the Wildcats, but it has his engine, the engine that won to the Wildcat 50s in the last 2 years. So now he has the power of his old car and the handle down of the car that he's racing now. We call it a new car, that's for sure. But could Dan Bean become a three-peat, or pull off a three-peat here in the Trusted Choice Insurance Wildcat 50? He was right on Justin Carcos for the first 10, 15 laps, and by about lap number 20, they were gone. Tough break for the number 1 and the 111. Both drivers, Ed Connolly and Billy Childs, have checked out nicely with Speedway Emergency Services. That's definitely good news from the backstretch.
Tonight, race fans. Third place, Dan Bean. How many laps did you need to bring it around and get into that first place position?
Actually, I think we had the car for it to do the run, but trying to keep the name as clean as I could. No, I don't want to win that race. A few more laps, you might have had it, but we'll take third. We got it.
Third place, not so bad. Dan Bean.
Dan, congratulations. Great race tonight.
Thank you. I'm almost scared to talk to our second place finisher tonight. Justin, I can see the frustration in your face. Keep it clean. Tell me what happened with those last 2 laps.
That was a wonderful race. I'm glad you fans enjoyed it. It was a super clean race.
Second place for Justin Carcos.
Justin, congratulations on the great races.
Thank you to everybody that helped.
Well, well, well. Look who's in the time order giveaway with the second. What happened? 2 laps to go, and you just took off.
The guy was coming to me. He was yellow.
something happened with the front two. They all got together and the hole opened up. And I just drove the rear bottle. Unbelievable. 10 years ago, I wasn't qualifying for this. I was going home and watching it from the grandstands. I got to thank No Such Chassis, Mainly Sand and Gravel, Mainly Motorsports, Perkins Smart Variety, Southern Maine Pools, Randy Harmon, Garrett Harmon, Zippy Bernia, the whole 96 Wildcat crew, the 21 Roadrunner crew. We all work as a team. We all get these things together week in and week out. Wow, unbelievable. I had no chance to win that until them all came together at the end. Wow, unbelievable. Thank you, guys.
What a finish for Lewis Anderson. Louis, congratulations on a great race this evening.
See Maine's largest selection of travel trailers, fifth wheels, toy haulers, truck campers, and motorhomes this Friday, Saturday, and Sunday at the Augusta RV Show. Get low preseason pricing. New travel trailers starting at just $12,999. Factory reps and finance managers on site to help you with your purchase. Plus, new this year, campgrounds will also be in attendance. 3 days only. Doors open Friday at noon, Saturday at 9 a.m., Sunday at 10 a.m. Your camping season starts at the Augusta Civic Center, exit 112 off I-95 Augusta. This event sponsored by Scott's Recreation.
Hi, I'm Sean Moody. We take pride in our facilities, and at Moody's, it's what's inside that matters. We believe it's more than just the exterior looking good, it's what's inside that matters. Restoring the structure of your vehicle to factory specs is critical to your safety. I'm proud of our Moody's coworker owners who understand the importance of protecting your valuable asset. And we all know what our most valuable asset is. It's what's inside that matters.
Football fans, have we got a deal for you? VIP Tour and Charter Bus Company is offering round-trip transportation to Gillette Stadium to watch the New England Patriots make another run for the Super Bowl. Ride in style knowing we're doing the driving. So if you've got a ticket, we've got your ride. It doesn't get any better than that. Just log on to VIPChartercoaches.com, click on the Browse Book Tour button, and book your trip today. It's that simple. Relax and leave the driving to us, and we'll leave the tailgating to you.
Welcome back to Mainly Motorsports, and we're back to where we started at the beginning of the show.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah.
Lots of carnage.
Is it good to catch up with, you know, a longtime friend of yours on the TV show?
Oh, heck yeah.
Yeah.
Always.
So we talked about it a little bit over the course of this episode, and Louis talked to us about how this season he's switching up plans a little bit, but it is to help such a great cause, which Steve and Mainly Motorsports and you both are a big part of, which is the Dream Ride Foundation, which is what Jake is driving for this season. Yes,
Tremendous undertaking. Very, very noble cause. Anybody goes on and does any research, research the Dream Ride and find out what's going on. And this is something that actually anybody can get involved with. There are 3 different layers of sponsorship, and you can get involved, and it all 100% goes to the Dream Ride Foundation, and I'm happy to be a small part of it, just as one of the sponsors, Sue and I, and I would encourage anybody out there to jump on board. It's a really, really cool thing.
And I think it's something that is so unheard of. You hear a lot of like drivers, which is awesome, doing stuff for charity, but you would never hear something where 100% of it is truly going to this foundation and to also help the Special Olympics of Maine as well, which is awesome.
Yeah, it's 100% and it's for a full season.
Yeah.
So there's that. There's no hidden agenda. There's no hidden baloney anywhere. It's 100% for the entire season is going right back to the Dream Ride charity. And we'll be having the Dream Ride night again at, I believe, Wiscasset Speedway this year at a date I'm sure that will be announced. And it's always a tremendous time. There's just unbelievable people to be involved with. They really are.
Yeah, and I think it's really cool because throughout everything, even like the Dream Ride event that we host at Wiscasset, the Special Olympians are always involved, whether that be like handing out the trophies. We had them involved up in Augusta, helping to build the car, which was huge for a lot of them. Had them back in Portland doing a few different activities, and it's been really cool to, you know, kind of keep them involved and see the smile on their faces as they're, you know, kind of getting their hands in the racing scene as well.
Yeah, it gives them a chance to have hands-on experience and to actually be a part of a program that is going to benefit everything that they're involved with. And again, it's I'm just happy to be a small piece of that puzzle, and I look forward to seeing how this all unfolds this year.
Yeah, and like you said, it's super easy even if you're a person like you or me to get involved, whereas like bronze level sponsorship is $500, but that's over the course of like a year. You can pay it all up front if you have the means to, but for people like you and me, like a $50 payment a month will like pay it off within a year, and you're helping like a great foundation, and you don't have to slap money on the table right away to be involved with this whole dream ride that we're doing this summer.
Yeah, no, it's simple. You can do, if you want to be a bronze level sponsor, $500. You can do 10 $50 payments. You can do 5 $100 payments, or you can pay it all at once. And the other levels, are a little more involved, but it's just going to be a really tremendous asset to the sport in general in this area.
And then just an update to the viewers too. Steve and Debbie were able to go to this big food festival that Bazzuto's hosted this past week at Foxwoods, and there we got some more funding for the Dream Ride happening this summer. And we are now, and the season hasn't even started yet, haven't even done the kickoff to the season at Bentley's yet, and we're already at Steve said close to $30,000, which is almost halfway to the goal already, and the race wheels haven't even hit the ground yet.
Right. It's a pretty big goal that he has set. I have no doubt that he'll reach it. And I think as the season gets closer and people learn more about it and it becomes more visible, the only visibility it's had so far, other than this show, is at the Augusta show and the Portland show. Once people start to see it, people are getting excited about it when they hear about it now. So I'm sure he'll reach the goal, and I know it'll be successful.
Yeah, definitely a lot of people jumping on board. Bobby Weber Jr. doing a lot of stuff with it as well, trying to help in any way he can. So it'll be cool seeing as the season builds, seeing how many more people, how many more tracks get involved in this great thing that we're doing this summer.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it as well.
Definitely, and thank you for joining us this week. Joining me on this side of the table, Steve. We had another storm this week, so he's a little bit tired. So we called in the troops to help us, and we definitely appreciate both you and Louis for joining us this week.
Is that what he told you to say?
Yeah, it's written down right here on my paper. Okay. So I'm sure you'll see Steve again next week. Until then, enjoy my face, Dan's face, Mr. Louis Anderson, and we'll see you next week on Mainly Motorsports.